I'm looking.
Also, in my hat.
And I'm passing through, and I think we're done.
This looks like a koi fish to me.
This week, bakers had to make a pie or a tart with a geometric pattern on top.
Sebastian, what are you doing?
I'm looking outside of the window to see what outer space looked like. I'm so excited, Mommy.
I'm excited too. Okay, let's first, this is the flour for the crust.
Mom, do we need some water?
Not yet, I'll tell you when. Sebastian, how does it look?
Mom, do I need to put the fruits?
Not yet.
Mom, I want to put the water.
1 spoon at a time, okay? Wait, no, not the ice, Abby. Not the ice.
Okay, the water. It will look like outer space. Rocket ship blasting off.
Oh, you loved it yesterday, right?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, volcano.
Mission. And so, what geometric shapes are you using for your pie?
I'm using the moon and the star because they're different.
They are different. And so, you know what a pattern is?
Yeah. Star, star, moon, star, moon, star, moon, star.
Having recently watched the SpaceX launch, Sebastian was inspired and decided to make a star moon pattern geometric pie using strawberries and blueberries for his filling.
I want to see where's Galileo. I'm trying to see where's Galileo on his face.
Should we start?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's start.
I wrote down my geometric designs with the tart mold. One plan is lots of cubes, which consists of lots of diamond shapes. My second plan is lots of hexagons. I found out that my mom is making patchwork with fabric and she is using hexagons. I placed the patchwork pieces on the tart mold to get a rough idea. I wrote down the hexagons and colored it in rainbow. Which one is better? I thought that the hexagons were more easy and pretty, so I decided on that idea.
Inspired by some of her mum's work, Monaco is creating a rainbow hexagon tart with a custard cream filling.
The next day, I made the tart dough. I am measuring the flour, the almond flour, and the butter. Whipping the butter, I remembered the last biscuit challenge. But this time, I did it much better. It smells good.
Hi, I'm reading about this really interesting artist, M.C. Escher, who makes these amazing artworks out of geometric shapes. But what is a geometric shape? Why do we use them? And where can we find them? From what I can tell, it looks like you can find them almost anywhere, like clothing. I think that there's geometric shapes in my jacket, or even in this blanket, or also in my hat.
We've got butter, flour, salt,
Devon is hoping to achieve a 3D effect with her rhombus pie.
What's in your bag? Books.
Baby rock.
Oh.
Sophie has chosen to fill her pie with raspberries and blueberries and hopes to achieve a lattice pattern on top of the pie.
I didn't have a hexagon-shaped cookie cutter, so I made them with cardboard. The dough is getting softer because the temperature is high. It's not easy for me.
By the American flag because they are my favorite colors.
Blake's favourite colours are those of the flag, so there's only one choice when it came to a geometric pattern. His stars and stripe pie will use blueberries for the blue and strawberries for the red.
Now I am going to put the strawberries and blueberries in. Blueberries for the stars, strawberries for the stripes.
We put it on. I put some blueberries and kind of these.
Blackberries.
Yeah, blackberries. And I mix. Mom, can we do that? Can we mix it with that thing, the blender, that thing to go so fast with that moving thing?
Oh, you mean the machine, the hand mixer?
Yes.
No, it doesn't need the hand mixer. We only need to move it a little bit around.
This is Bennett, and today I'm going to be making an apple pie. So I'm going to add a mixture of a half cup white sugar and half cup brown sugar to make the pie syrup. So in fact, yes, there it goes. There's our brown sugar. So next I need to stir the mixture.
Bennett has decided to go for a lattice look for his pie and fill it with an apple filling.
Stirring the mango on the stove so that it gets to this thick mango, this thick consistency. And this is actually mango and passion fruit, and I think we're done.
Alright, so what's next?
So my dough has just come from the fridge and it's nice and cold. And I'm gonna put it on the flour and start rolling it out.
What are we doing now?
So we're mixing boiled down mango and the fresh mango together with some cornstarch. Spreading it evenly amongst in the pie. So this strawberry is really big. It's like the size of my palm.
Hi, this is Bennett, and I've cut and peeled my apples, and I am finally ready to put them on my pie plate.
Sophia has chosen to fill her pie with a cinnamon filling and decorate it with a sliced strawberry on top.
What are these geometric shapes? The more I look around, the more I think that they really are everywhere. And I could probably find them in every single room of my house, and I bet you could too. I have this really, really beautiful ceramic piece that's got these awesome geometric shapes all over them. I almost said plates. I really love this one. This is my favorite. But I think that you can also find them in three-dimensional objects, like, for example, this hat. If you were to get up really close, you're going to see all of these shapes that are created within the hat.
Star, star, rectangle. Star, star, rectangle. Star, star, rectangle. Star, star, rectangle. Star, star, rectangle, triangle. star, star, rectangle, triangle.
You're so cute.
Square, square, square.
I am squeezing the custard cream, which my mom made. And now I'm lining the strawberries and then squeezing the cream again. Now I am decorating the tart with the hexagons.
Using icing sugar and stencils, Yuri hopes to decorate her tart with a Japanese geometric crest.
A geometric shape is basically defined by points on a plane that are connected by lines. You guys know that when you connect lines together, there's a line. If I was to continue it until I got to the other side, I would then create a shape. So a geometric shape is defined by connecting points on a plane. So if I was to have, let's say I had a point there, and a point there, point there. If I was to connect those points together using lines, I would then create a geometric shape. There are so many different shapes you can make, and they can also be two-dimensional or they can be three-dimensional. Two-dimensional shape is going to be flat. Three-dimensional geometric shape is going to have a third dimension. So if you were to add more points down here, we're going to make this into a three-dimensional shape.
Okay, so I just have a template. And I'm just cutting it.
Yeah, you gotta be on that.
So we're gonna lay these pink and red ones out just like the drawing we did. We traced the pie tray and I think we're ready to go. It has that geometric look, and I think it actually looks like it is 3D and you can't step on the stairs down.
So how can I, or how could you, make something as interesting and intricate as something like this? It actually just starts off with one shape, and what you'd want to do is start to find other shapes around there that you could create and repeat. Shapes, the outside of a shape will define another shape. And let me show you what I mean. We're going to give this a try. So I'm going to start off with this.
It doesn't look neat because some cookies are out of the mold. So I decided to cut them off.
Now I'm gonna put it in the oven.
Okay, you're good. Now just push it in. You're good. No, push it again on the right corner. That's it. Perfect. Now close the door.
It's a little bit bubbly. The stars and stripes turned out as I thought it was gonna turn out.
Now this artist, MC Escher, is well known for a lot of different artworks. As you can see, he's an incredible artist with creating realistic artworks. But he's also amazing at geometric shapes and creating something called tessellations. So when you repeat a geometric shape over and over again, you're going to get something called a tessellation. So these birds, you can see they repeat and they morph and change shape, but then in between each of them is also another defined shape of a bird. It's really interesting. He's very good at this. One of my all-time favorites, because I love the ocean, is his little fish tessellations. This looks like a koi fish to me. And our seashells. And let's not forget one of his most famous ones, which you've probably seen before, the birds turning into fish and the birds turning into the chessboard.
So this is the original drawing. These, the pink and the red are pie crust that we have colored, and then the yellow is the mango passion fruit filling. Ta-da! Yummy.
It's really yummy.
Yes. I love it so much because it's the best pie in the whole world.
Oh, yummy.
The judges will now decide who is this week's star baker.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the penultimate NAISNY Bake Off judging episode. This week, it's pies and tarts. Excited to be seeing what you've been up to in the kitchen and looking at the incredible geometric patterns and creations you've made.
Yeah, so the bakers this week bake either a pie or a tart. It just had to have some kind of geometric kind of pattern on top of it. And I kind of put a reference out there of Escher, who's this great artist. And if you don't know any of Escher's work, I really recommend going. I think there might even be an exhibition in New York, or they may have closed now. And that was a fantastic exhibition. It's one of my favorites, really. Anyway, should we start off with Blake's Stars and Stripes?
Yes, I love this.
I love the picture because it's his brother.
It's a very clever idea using the fruit to keep the colours of the flag. I like that.
He said his favourite colours were the colours of the flag, so he chose this because it allowed him to have his favourite colours in the pie. And he's worked with he kind of had his brother there all along, and they seemed to have a really good time.
Oh, that's
the pie.
Yeah. I love how it's kind of bled through the stripes a little bit as well, making it really juicy and tasty.
Yeah, I know.
I
think that's really good, and it's been interesting to see how Blake's kind of improved each week, and when he's been doing these Bake Off, and it's thinking back to his early Great Wall of China, and even the way he's presenting himself. I love the way he's kind of got more confidence in his presenting.
Yeah.
It's really good. And then next we've got Erin's lemon tart. Now I think she didn't actually provide a video for this, but she did kind of provide one picture of her making it, and. Yeah, she looks very good. She's concentrating very hard in this.
It is beautiful. It is beautifully laid out and very fresh and healthy looking. It looks delicious.
Do you know what I like is the fact she's used rather than kind of making and cutting out shapes, she's used the shapes of the fruit as the kind of the geometric designs, geometric, very good effort. Okay, Monaco's Hexagon Rainbow.
This is absolutely beautiful. It's very striking. The colours are amazing. The tessellation is beautiful. I love how the rainbow transfers across.
And a bit of math, you like this. She had to make her own pastry cutter out of paper or card because they didn't have any metal ones in that shape. So she had to make the cutter herself and then cut it out into those shapes.
Wow, that's incredible. That makes me like it. Cool.
Right. So very good entry. Next, we've got Yuri's tarts, and she's used a Japanese geometric crest.
I love this
looked into
idea as well. I love the idea of doing a template. That's genius. Really clever idea. Beautiful pattern.
Yeah, and again, like, I think it's, you know, it's well baked. I say maybe slightly over baked on the kind of crust, but the pattern and the design for the tart is just it's just beautiful, and yeah, I'd enjoy eating that. Next, Sophia's cinnamon pie. Now again, Sophia, I feel like Sophia's definitely got stronger as this has gone on, and you've got this beautiful kind of sliced strawberry on top for design in the middle. Like, you've got this kind of nice crisp. What I would say, it looks a bit kind of gooey in the middle. Now I wonder if that's anything to do with the strawberry.
I like the marble
I'd say,
with the circles on top. Are they pastry as well?
I don't know what they are, but yeah, I do as well. I don't
It looks
know
very
what it is.
delicious. It's very tasty pie. You could think of that coming out in a restaurant, I think. And it's very tasty. I like the marbled effect. I love the strawberry. I think that's beautiful, but it does look a bit gooey in the middle. And I like the pie dish as well.
Oh yeah.
Let's have a look at Bennett's pie. He's done like a lattice design, and it looks very tasty. Very, very tasty. It's quite hard weaving pastry. I found it very challenging when I was doing mine because you don't want it to break, but it has to stay cold for the best effect. So I think he's done a really good job weaving it, and it looks very tasty, very well baked. He's definitely beaten his previous titles of not quite baking things enough. I think he's definitely shown a huge amount of improvement, and you can see how crispy and delicious that looks.
Yeah, no, I saw him like making the lattice effect and kind of was weaving the pastry in between. He made like a nice kind of filling with apple filling. It's, you know, it looks a really good pie. Next we've got Rose's pie, and you can see the before and after. It's a peach pie.
Yeah,
Again,
lovely, very tasty.
Peach pie in the summer is perfect, you know, and it looks very kind of, the pattern's very, you know, regular.
Yeah, very consistent. Again, kudos for working with a pastry like that because it's not simple. It looks a tad pale. I'd like it to be a bit more baked, I think, on top. But then the peaches look like they're well cooked. So I wonder if she put the. But yeah, it looks good. It's a nice consistent lattice. I like the pattern. It looks delicious. I love how the fruit looks all caramelized. It looks yummy, but a bit longer, I think, in the oven.
Devon's rhombus pie, or rhombile pie.
I can't say this. Again, another beautiful entry. I love the mathematical tessellation here and the shapes created in the space, as well as the red. She's obviously got her red rhombuses, but then I love the shapes that have been created within the space.
Yeah, so, and she wants to make this kind of 3D effect. I think it's just, I love what she's done there.
It looks delicious as well. Is it passion fruit pie? Wow, mango passion fruit, delicious filling.
So next we've got Eob's pie, and he always puts in a great effort. I always love watching his videos of him making it. You have got geometric shapes.
Definitely made the effort.
I just feel like maybe they're not as regular as I think he could do. I think a bit more regularity with them, a bit kind of constant thickness with some of them. But it's a great effort.
And it's very hard to work with these pastry strips. I have said this over and over again this episode, I know, but it's hard. He definitely has a ruler, and he's year 8, so I would expect him to be able to measure the widths of them a bit better, so they were more consistent. I like the idea of having them going into a shape in the middle. I think it is nice. There's one that's very definitely not been cut on the left-hand side, and I think for Eob in year 8, I know he has a ruler.
So you've been told, Eob?
Yeah. From your math teacher, I would expect uniform cutting and shape. But the apple, is it apple? It looks delicious. The apples look beautifully cooked, and like that looks delicious. I think the pastry's also not been cooked quite enough, or he could do with an egg wash to make it brown up a bit.
Yeah, I think so too. My thoughts exactly. We've got mine eyes. my and Aya's fruit cheese tart. Again, this when it showed up, I was like, it looks so cute. The two girls obviously work together there, and they've kind of made this kind of kiwi strawberry alternating pie. I think it's, it looks very.
I know, it looks amazing. The pie underneath, like the first of all, the pie underneath looks delicious. I'd really like to try it. Secondly, the pattern on top is beautiful. And I can imagine, I mean, Mai's very artistic, and I can imagine her taking the time. Look how uniform pieces of fruit are cut. They're cut so perfectly and arranged so beautifully. I think it's very detailed, and I like the fact that it's simple, just red and green. I think it keeps it, the simplicity and the uniform of it is very aesthetically pleasing.
And then next we've got Sebastian's sort of SpaceX. I've called it a star moon pie. He basically watched the SpaceX launch, and he's just obsessed with going into space now.
I love it. I love that he's themed it with SpaceX.
He's in the twos, and so he's, it's great work coming from the twos. I
love that we've got entries from the whole school. It is beautiful. I love the moon shape. I love how they've cut out stars, and they've used the stars they cut out on the edge. I think that's a really lovely touch, so no painting was wasted. Looks like one's been nibbled on the right hand side. Just make sure.
So next we've got Sophie's geometric pie.
I can see she's had the same problem I had with the strips, where they may have broken, and she's kind of overlaid them to kind of try and keep them straight. It's very hard working with strips of papering. Easy to cut them, hard to move them.
Yeah, I think maybe what she could have done here is maybe kind of weave them a bit.
Yeah.
I think that would have helped. I think it's a very good bake. I think just that something about that weaving kind of, and that regularity of that weaving just adds to the kind of the pattern and the geometric kind of sense of things.
Yeah. The fruit inside looks beautifully cooked.
Oh yeah. I mean, it looks like it's
gooey. It looks delicious.
That was good. So well done, Sophie, for that.
Very good. Looks delicious.
Now, in terms of star bakers, who are you kind of top?
I love my and Aya's. I love the simplicity, the bake, and the beautiful pattern. I love Renaco's. I just love the colour. I think it's so effective and so bright, and so beautifully made. Especially now I know that she had to make her own cutter by hand. And I think my other top one would be Erin's fruity creation as well.
The level of the entry is getting closer and closer.
Getting harder and harder.
I know. Blake's is, a big contender. I think just maybe the regularity of something. So making sure if those strips were all exactly the same kind of thickness, if the stars were all exactly the same shape, and just kind of helping with that, kind of help increase that kind of pattern look. I think that's maybe what he could have done to get him into the top contenders, I think. So I'm going to look a bit closer then. I'm looking at. Do you know what I think? I am very impressed with how Erin's used the fruit as the geometric shapes.
Oh yeah. It's really hard. Can we have two winners? Effort that's gone into Renaco's, like making a pattern for a regular hexagon to get that tessellation, to get that level of consistency in her shapes, even after they've been baked. So she must have cut them up before they were baked and then baked them, and they've still managed to tessellate in a really regular form. That's impressive. The edges around the edge of the pie, that is a shame that they don't fit perfectly, but I think the effort that's gone to make sure the pastry can dyed so perfectly and then cut out so carefully and neatly that they've still tessellated as well as they have even after baking, because we know that pastry changes slightly as it bakes. That to me is very impressive. With the fruit, I love that. I love the pattern. I love the natural shapes that we use. They can't use all the pieces of the strawberries, so they can use some of those strawberries as well, which is always a bonus when you're baking. But I think the technicality of it isn't as advanced as Renaco's.
I think Monaco is this week's star baker with her Hexagon rainbow tart. Yeah, so well done, Monaco.
That's another Discovery winner, Mr. Reardon.
Yeah, no. We're gonna
You're
win this year.
bakers.
This is the plan all along. And then, okay, so let's look at so we've actually got 2 pie entries for the staff. I unfortunately didn't have enough time because I was making these episodes. It's taken up 2 strong entries, yourselves and Miss Procacci's. I have to tell you, again, as always, I've eaten the peachy pie. It was delicious. It was
delicious. I love the heart. I think they're so cute. I love the presentation of this.
It's just presented well. Do you know what it is? It's just
like a pie that like a really comforting pie that you might get at your grandma's house because it's been made with love and it's got hearts on the outside. It just feels like a really lovely pie.
It was very much a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. I've got a lot on my hips right now after eating that pie. I tell you that. It's sneaking into the kitchen and trying to get an extra slice and getting caught most of the time. And we've got yours as well, Miss Claire. Another fantastic pie. How did it taste?
Oh, it was delicious. Again, a lifetime on the hips, waist, arms, legs. Like this Bake Off has been my favourite part of virtual school, I think. But my weight has suffered as a result because after we eat it all, the pie was delicious. It was really good. The blueberries were fresh and it was had enough sugar in to make it nice and gooey and kind of caramelized. I probably could have had more blueberries in it. I feel like it looks a bit empty. And once they baked down, it was quite high, but once they break down, obviously it kind of sunk a little bit. So I think I could have overfilled it.
Who would be your?
I mean, that means you have to choose. I can't vote for myself.
So I've got my boss or my girlfriend. My vote for this week, and it's not to take away from you, I think, is Miss Procacci's peach pie.
I just think it looks such a made with love pie. It just makes me feel happy. So I'm happy with that.
It made me very happy, which is I'm going to vote for it.
That's very important, Mr. Reardon.
So next week's bake is just an MIT themed bake, and they can choose whatever kind of bake they want to kind of make something that's MIT themed. Now, this could be hacks. It could be something to do with the challenges that we get given. It could be due to the ethos. It could be to do with anything that they think is related to MIT. And they can choose any kind of bake to do that. To help them with that, if they do want any help, I've created like a filter where it will it's a bit like that. Which Disney character are you? Where it kind of put Disney characters on your head and it flicks through them. I kind of make something like that, but for different types of bakes. If people want to see.
How fun! That sounds awesome. A great way to give you an idea of what to cook if you're not sure. Because having lots of choice makes it quite exciting, but also sometimes quite hard if you don't know where to start. But I think lots of people have built so many skills over the last 6 weeks that actually it'd be really interesting to see what they come up with when they're left to their own devices.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to, because this is showstopper, and they're going to have 2 weeks to make this, essentially, or at least a week to make this. So, there's going to be a lot of thought going into this.
Planning.
I'm excited to see what comes out. So, thank you again, welcome back. Actually, thank you for joining us this week, Miss Berry Claire.
I was sad last week when I didn't get to, but then actually a judge on the bake. It was a judge on the height. So it was good. It's good to be back. Thank you for having me. I enjoy judging this competition very much, and I'm looking forward to the showstoppers next week with all the themes.
Okay, thank you very much, and see you next week, guys.
Bye.